Hello all, welcome to another video with me, Varun on Tech Tablet. In this video, the goal or the agenda would be to discuss the major differences between SAP ABAP and SAP OData. A lot of people ask me if SAP OData is an extension of ABAP or if SAP OData and ABAP are the same, or if their working principles are the same, and if we have very similar techniques of working on them, and do we have everything that we work on ABAP and OData as well? Well, let's try to demystify this in this specific video. In order to do that, let us, quickly start looking at the presentation. So I have the slide here for you, which talks about SAP ABAP versus OData. Again, this is completely a free course for all the people who are breaking their heads to learn SAP UI5 Fiori. I'm just trying to simplify it and put forward whatever are the challenges that I have faced. So when we talk of ABAP in the first place, we all know the abbreviation is Advanced Business Application Programming, right? So to answer the first question, does SAP OData have all the principles and all the elements and all the things that are used in ABAP? The answer is no. Because in SAP ABAP, there are a lot many things you can do, like probably reports, smart forms, etc., which is something that we don't usually do in OData, right? Now, having said this, SAP ABAP is used for, developing applications in the R3 setup. All right, let me just use a pen. Okay, it enables customization and creation of reports. That's what I was talking to you about, forms, workflows, interfaces, reports, etc. It is procedural and object-oriented supportive. I hope we all know that we have OO ABAP. Then ABAP runs on SAP NetWeaver application. Again, just to keep things easy, the key features are it is a high-level programming language, it is database independent, it supports object-oriented, it has DDIC, which is like, the central repository. It has tables, views, everything that is, created here. Integration with SAP modules like you have SD, you have HR, human resources, you have FI, finance, you have FICO, you have MM, material management. There are, a plethora of modules that SAP provides with which you can go and work. And then you have built-in debugger and testing tools. We'll look at each of these when we start working on OData, wherein we'll, extract the information from ABAP. So yeah, let us, probably look at each of these as we keep going ahead. All right. Now, let's go further into the next step. Now we'll be talking about what is OData, right? OData, as per the word itself, is clearly written. It is open data. It is something that's, it's a brainchild of Microsoft, and it uses REST protocol. Okay. And this is mainly used when you want to kind of, go ahead with web-based protocol for what? For making queries and updating information. It uses HTTP, which is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, to exchange information. The data is usually in JSON or XML format, and it's basically a standardized way. I mean, I wouldn't mind saying that without ABAP, there is nothing for OData to fetch, right? So OData can be considered as a middleware between the front end, which is UI5, and the back end, which is ABAP. It gets the information from the repository and it shows the information the way it is needed. So it is very efficient in making queries like, filter or select or order or etc. It enables data exchange between SAP systems and external applications. That's what we were talking about. Then it provides you with CRUD operations support, which is create, read, update, and delete. All right. And it also gives you metadata support, right? And the best thing about this is the interoperability. It works very comfortable with SAP UI5 Fiori on a system or on a mobile application or on a tablet or a desktop or a laptop. You just name it and it works absolutely fine. right? And it also has the capacity to merge or collaborate with external tools like Power BI or Microsoft Excel, aimed at an icing on the cake for all the SAP developers who've been breaking their heads over ages. Now, how do they work together? Like I just said, ABAP creates the logic and defines how the data should be fetched, while OData brings that data or exposes that data to UI5 Fiori. Now, without ABAP, there is nothing to show or expose in your OData. And without OData, your Fiori, that is your front end, cannot communicate with the backend. So, is OData like an API? Well, the answer is yes. So now here is a small example flow, if you can see. The developer writes an SAP ABAP code to get the records of employees. The ABAP logic is wrapped inside OData service, and UI5 for Fiori, which is on the front end, it consumes the OData service and displays the employee data. Now, having said this, just wanted you to know that there are three types of OData that we have available, right? The first one that we have is OData ABAP service, or the OData ABAP. It interacts with the ECC, or the CRM, that is the customer relation management, the SRM, and SEM as well. Now, the next one that we have is OData on HANA. Right now, when we talk of OData on HANA, this is a bit different. It works with SAP HANA in specific. Okay. Then we have OData for external services. Okay. Now, when we talk of external services, this is built to deal with non-SAP systems. All right. So this is what we have. Now, when we talk of uh, you know, the example flow, I hope you have understood what is the relation. Now, talking of the SAP ABAP architecture here, this is a bit important for us. Now, here, if you can see in the SAP ABAP architecture, you have how, the user interface, which is GUI, or, the Fiori or UI5. This is the first part where the developer looks at the screen, and then there is the application layer where the developer works on, and then there is a database layer where the information goes and the information gets stored. Now, when we talk of OData architecture here, OData architecture is a bit different when you compare it with the architecture of ABAP, because in OData, as I said, we majorly work on get, post, put, and delete, and these kind of operations, right? And here the information that we need is fetched from the backend. That is, it is fetched from the ABAP part, where the information needs, or the information is already pre-developed in ABAP, and all that OData has to do is to consume. And this goes into the database where you have your your business data that gets recorded. Okay, then let us just put them all in one combination and try to see. So firstly, you have a Fiori UI5 application in the front end, which is generally used in the mobile or a laptop. Now, when I open this, or when I use this, the OData works by calling on the HTTP, or it uses the REST protocol. In the next step, it goes and communicates with the SAP gateway, where the OData is in action. The OData provider makes an RFC call to the ABAP server, that is your backend. Now, these ABAP programs have logics, right? Like, probably you might want to extract the information of a customer, or you might want to create a smart form when a button is clicked, and this smart form, the information in the smart form goes into the front end, where the fields are consumed and the logic is taken, and front end works appropriately. So it contains the business logic, the ABAP part. Now, after that, you have the SAP HANA, or the database tables, okay, where the information is finally stored or extracted, or I mean, then it is basically a place where the information is either stored or extracted as per the need, right? So finally, we have the workflow. When we talk of the workflow here, you can see you have ABAP and UI5 as the two layers, that is the front end and the back end, while OData is acting like an API. I wouldn't call OData just an API, but fine. Now we have ABAP. In ABAP, you know that we have different kinds of application layers that we can work with. Sorry, we have different, we have an application layer which has different elements that you can work with, like you have reports, you have modules, you have smart forms, etc. Then you have the database layer, which has SAP HANA, right? And after SAP HANA, in the next step, you see you have your OData service, which is, the SAP gateway. I mean, the ABAP communicates with OData, and OData communicates with the front end. Again, front end also communicates with the OData. I mean, this is mutually exchangeable, uh, uh, you know, communication that is established here. Then we have SAP UI5 Fiori, which is the front end application. Right now, again, this process continues. Now, if in case you are making a query in the front end, the the controller triggers, the like when you hit on an element on the front end, the the HTML or the view that you create in XML, it triggers the JavaScript. The JavaScript triggers the OData, and here OData makes a call, the HTTP call. This call goes to the backend via REST protocol, and again ABAP comes into picture again. So this is a cycle wherein the cycle keeps going front to back or back to front based on how and what is the operation that we are doing. Okay, so just to keep it short, neat, and easy. Um, when we talk of OData, just a little bit of information that is good for you to know. When we talk of OData, it basically supports two types. It supports XML and it supports JSON, okay, formats. Again, XML is very widely used. XML is lightweight. XML is easy. All right. So yeah. And how does XML look like? If you really want to look at XML, then XML is more of in HTML format, wherein the information is within quotes. Now, when we talk of JSON, in JSON, the information is in, flower brackets. Now, let us just quickly look at one small example of, how XML looks like. Now, I'll give a name, like my name is Varun, and it is enclosed like this. So this is how XML looks like. Now, when we talk of JSON, on the other hand, JSON is a bit different. It stores values or employee name. It stores it like this in this format. Okay, so this variant is XML, right? Now the next variant here is JSON, right? So basically, this is how the information is fed or stored when we talk of XML or JSON formats, right? So there's nothing more than this here. However, the next thing that I wanted you to understand is when we talk of OData, or when we talk of an OData service, right here, we were talking that when we work with OData, OData usually communicates. Here we've seen a word that is service gateway, SAP service gateway. Now, what does SAP service gateway do, or what does it have, is a very important thing for us to discuss. So let's talk about SAP NetWeaver gateway, right? So firstly, this is used to create an OData service for you to start working on a basic project. Now, what does, okay, it's not a date, it's a data. Now, what does an OData service usually have? Like when you create an OData service, it has four parts or four folders that are usually used. The first one being a data model, The second one being service implementation, right? The third one after service implementation is runtime artifacts. And finally, we have the service maintenance. Uh, okay, I think we have the service maintenance wherein you generate the maintenance finally. Now, what do each of these do? Right now, within the data model, you would be importing your tables, or it's basically your your data. Okay, to keep it very simple. Within service implementation, you could work on your CRUD operations, and then we have runtime artifacts wherein you have your MPC, uh, you have your MPC extension, you have DPC and DPC extension, which are the major chunks here that need to be discussed. There are also another couple of them in runtime artifacts. Let's talk about them in detail when we go to them. And finally, you have your service maintenance, where you would be generating your OData service. Okay, like this would give you an access, like once your service maintenance is generated and you are ready with this. Now you are ready to make a request, or you're ready to make a query on the OData platform, which in turn goes and triggers SAP ABAP, and the information is fetched into the OData part. So this is how the architecture or the information flows from SAP ABAP to OData to UI5 Fiori. Okay, I hope that is understood. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat box, as I would be extremely happy to get back to you with answers. And also in the next video, let us talk about what are the different tools that we use in the front end and back end. We have VS Code, we have Eclipse, we have a couple of web-based tools. We have Web IDE. We also have things which are newer than Web IDE. Let us explore and unlock what these are in the next video. We'll also look at backend, that is OData. Again, we'll just be looking at them at a basic level. And all those of you who are planning to kick off learning for your SAP UI5, I think this should set the right tone, or the right platform for you to go ahead. So stay tuned. I would get back to you again. Thank you very much. This is me, Varun, signing off.